Hi, my name is Emily Nallen, and today I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of a professional learning network and why this is not just a fad term, but it's something that has revolutionized how we do staff development and how we learn professionally as adults in the education industry. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And in the beginning, why is this important and why has this come to be such a term that we hear so often? And that's because of the benefits that we get from personal learning networks. Not only are we not having to go great distances to conferences or even go and leave our campuses and go to different trainings that are located in different parts of the city, we now can isolate our training to whatever time we need and whatever location we need. So given those benefits, there's obviously going to be a huge cost savings involved, and you're not limited in what you're learning and the time frame that you're learning it. So what else does a personal learning network do for you? Well, it gives you the ability to connect with people, again, not just in your local area, but across the world. You could seek out information from somebody from Germany, from New York, from wherever. You're not isolated to learning from someone within your own state or your own city. And so really it has begun to make more sense, and it makes things more simple. So again, if it's an easier resource that has cost savings and time savings, then why not go ahead and make ourselves better at our jobs? So then why is it that you think that there's a slow transition in the education industry and really going this route for professional development? And there's probably many different reasons, but probably the most obvious is that in the education industry, we tend to continue to do things the way that we've always done things. And a great example of that is if you just look at a traditional classroom. Even a traditional classroom today looks the same as it did in 1950. It's a slow process getting us to change our habits that we feel like are successful. Whereas there are so many new things and there are so many things that are evolving that we have to just jump on the bandwagon and make sure that we're on the up and coming trends. And so it's more important in our industry probably than in any other, simply because we're teaching the next generation of students. So we want to have the most up-to-date, the most recent, and the most abundant knowledge in all of our different areas. And so by doing this, we have to in turn make ourselves lifelong learners and make that the most cost-effective thing that we can. So what exactly is a personal learning network? Really, it is a learning community that you can establish yourself. You have the ability to go out and through many different means of online products, you can begin to set up your own network and to collaborate with those that have similar interests as yourselves. And it's great because, again, you're not institutionally bound. So again, if you want to learn something that's not directly educational focused, you can go out there and find a series of resources that aren't isolated to your particular area. And a huge benefit as well is that you self-direct your own learning and you assemble exactly the tools that you need to make yourself successful. So you have the empowerment and you have the control over when you learn, how much you learn, in your own pace of when you're learning. So I'm going to go through a couple of different personal learning networks that I currently use just as options so that you can begin to see some examples of these. The first one is Twitter, and Twitter is a very great tool for building your own network and having the information really hand-delivered to yourself. So once you join Twitter, you can find the right people to follow that have interests similar to yours, and you can also begin searching for all the information that's already currently available on the site that people have already posted. And as you begin to build this network of people that you're following, all the information is directly available to you when you log in. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. And again, you're having the most current up-to-date information knowledge that you're not having to go out and seek and sift through all this data that's on the mass files of the internet, you're able to just have it delivered to you. So here's a little example of what you would see. After you have begun following people, then you'll see them on the right-hand side, and you can see their immediate tweets. And again, another thing that's very useful is any information that comes directly out of a service center or the state or even your region. As long as you're following that person or that institute, you again have immediate access to the most recent data. So that's just a little bit about what that looks like, and it's all right in front of you as you log in. Another great tool is called Diigo, and it's an online bookmarking tool. And this tool allows you to, again, create a whole database full of resources that could be articles, it could be blogs, it could be just general websites, any kind of knowledge out there. You can house it in one place so that you have all of those resources available as they tie within each other. And the beauty of this is not only can you create a network, but you can share this with others and begin collaborating on this network. And in essence, set up your own database that's shared out. So again, you're not recreating the wheel. You're being able to share your resources. And this one really hits on not having teachers work in their own isolation anymore, but really working as a collaborative unit. And here's an example of one of our campuses that is using Diigo, and they're using it as a collaborative network within their whole campus so that teachers can share technology tools that they're using on this site. They can post notes, they can post discussion boards, all sorts of things in order to help share this information. So again, we're not recreating the same information in our own classrooms. And finally, blogging is another great tool, and whether you are creating your own blog or you're seeking to follow other blogs, this is a great means to share information and gain information. And it also begins to allow you to see how this can become a neat tool to use in your classroom with your students so that they're following blogs and they have more information about what blogs actually are. And here's an example of a blog I've created, and I just created this in order to get myself started on what are some good resources that are available and what are means of using blogs and those sorts of things in order to begin a starting place. And so that's a little bit about what that could look like. In reference to, again, why is a personal learning network so important, we can go back to the time management that's involved, the cost savings, the unlimited connections, and just generally making more sense. Not only are we not seeking out information, we're having it come to us, but we're making ourselves better at our jobs at the same time. And finally, these are the resources I used to put this together, and there's tons and tons more out there, and I hope you've enjoyed just a little bit of a beginning to learning about personal learning networks.